Hello viewers, yes, this is Ranjana ma'am and you're watching, yes, it's mine as well as your channel. And yes, the thumbnail says it all. You know that it is the second part of Julius Caesar's Act 3 Scene 2. That part where Mark Antony, he has already started it and now he will be turning the public against the conspirators. What a shrewd schemer he is. How wonderfully he plays his part. So he doesn't blame the conspirators. He speaks all good of Caesar, but in such a way that the common people, they realize that these people, Brutus and the others, they are not really reformers, but they are conspirators. And he turns them against the conspirators so that these people are driven away from Rome. Rather, they are chased out of Rome and their houses burned. So, what are we waiting for? But you know what's coming. Don't forget to press the like button after you have viewed the whole video. And yes, of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it up till now. Yeah, welcome back after that short intro. Sometimes I put it in the beginning and sometimes here, just before I begin the class. So here I'll start from where I had left in my previous video, part 1. This is the second part. So we have here Mark Antony speaking. The common public, they are all ears, they are ready to listen to the will of Julius Caesar. Mark Antony says that yes, he has the will of Julius Caesar and yet he says he doesn't want to read it. Why? Because it would make the people emotional. But yesterday, we'll start from here. But yesterday, the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, where? At the base of Pompey's statue. So he is lying in the dust. And yesterday only Caesar's word would have been the last word. No one would have been there. There was no one to contradict him. And now he is lying in such a lowly state. He is lying in the dust. And none so poor to do him reverence. And there is no one who is so poor to show him respect. Yeah, because Brutus's speech has made them believe that Caesar was a tyrant. And that is what Mark Antony is trying to point it out. He has already softened the public towards Julius Caesar and now he is saying there is no one to show him honor. And yesterday only he was the most powerful man and today he is lying in the dust and there is no one so so lowly to show him any respect. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. This is a very clever technique. Throughout he calls them honorable men. But at the same time, he points out that what they have done is not honorable, so they are not really. He never says they are not honorable men. He always says they are honorable men. But do honorable men behave like this? Do they kill a person who is a friend of the countrymen? Mark Antony is proving that Caesar was a friend of the countrymen. Why? Because when the poor had cried, he had wept. He had refused the crowd. So Mark Antony just proves that Caesar is not ambitious. This is what the conspirators had tried to project. Caesar was ambitious, he was a tyrant and we killed him. And he is saying no, Caesar was not ambitious. And at the same time, he doesn't stop calling these people honorable. So he says, no, I have no intention. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds. So this is what he really wants. He wants to provoke them to mutiny. He wants to make them angry. He wants to provoke them, incite them to rebel against Brutus and Cassius. But he is saying that no, I have no wish to incite you. Why? Because in doing that I would be doing injustice to Brutus and Cassius, whom you all know they are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. No, I am not going to do any injustice towards them. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honorable men. So instead of wronging these honorable men, I would prefer to wrong myself, I would prefer to wrong you, I would prefer to wrong Caesar. So rather let us be victims than make these people victims, because they are honorable people. And now he'll bring out a folded piece of paper and say that this is the will of Caesar. But here is a parchment with the seal of Caesar. A roll of paper. So he brings out a roll of paper, God knows from where he gets it, but he produces it before the public. See, these people are not literate. So you can bring any piece of paper and tell that this is the will of Caesar. Any rolled paper and say this is the will of Caesar, and whatever is not written also you can read, and the public, they are not educated enough to read it. They will believe whatever you say. And this is what Mark Antony is doing. His job at this moment is to make the people feel that Caesar was the lover of the common people, and these conspirators have killed him, and in that they have done a great wrong. So he brings out this. See, here is a parchment with the seal of Caesar, with the stamp of Caesar. I found it in his closet. So he says that I found it in his study. It is his will. So what is this roll of paper? It is the will of Caesar. Will is a dying declaration as to what happens after your death to your property. How is the property distributed among the relatives and other people after the person's death? So that is a will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read. And they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds, and dip their napkins in his sacred blood, yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their sons. Just see what a clever person Mark Antony is. He is just making them eager to know what is in the will, and he is saying, I have no intention of reading it. This is the will. I have no intention of reading it. But if you get to know what is written in the will, how would you react? If you get to know the contents of this will, what would you do? These are the things they would do. First, they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds. The wounds of Caesar, they would go and kiss it. 1. Dip their handkerchiefs in the blood of Caesar. Ask for a hair of Caesar to keep as a souvenir, as a memento. And before dying in their wills, pass it to their heirs, as it is as an invaluable gift. So now the public will be really wanting to hear what is in the will, and he is saying, I don't have any intention to read it, but if I read it, this is how you all will react. So if I tell you, I know something so horrible, I know a secret, horrible secret about her, but no, I should not tell you. So naturally you get interested, you get very curious. So this is what he is doing to the public. If you get to know what is in the will, you will go and kiss his wounds, you will dip your handkerchiefs in his blood, and not only that, you would, if you get a single hair of him from his head, you would keep it as a very valuable possession, and after your death it would pass to your heirs. So now let's see what the people have to say about it. Fourth plebeian, we'll hear the will. Read it, Mark Antony. So everyone is quite interested in listening to the will. The will, we will hear Caesar's will. They now want to hear the will, and Mark Antony will still play with the time. He just wants to see them very in a state of frenzy, very angry at the conspirators, and also very eager to know what is written in the will. Why does Mark Antony say we will behave in this way? That means, has Caesar mentioned anything about us in his will? We really don't know if Caesar has written all these things or these are made up by Mark Antony. Have patience, gentle friend. His job is to provoke the people against the conspirators, and he can do anything to make them incited. Have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. They are so dying to know what is written in the will, and he is still going on saying, I am not going to read the will. It is not meet, you know how Caesar loved you. So it is not right. It is not proper that you should know how much Caesar loved you. In this only he is telling Caesar loved you a lot, but he says it is not proper or right that you should know how much Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stones, but men. You are not inanimate objects, you are made of flesh and blood, you have emotions. And being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you, it will make you mad. You are human beings, you are flesh and blood, you are made of emotions. So if you listen to the will, then how will you react? It will provoke you, it will incite you, and it will make you mad. It will make you crazy. It is good you know not that you are his heirs, for if you should, what should come of it? He is saying it is not good that you should know, and he is telling everything. He is telling that you should not know, but then he is telling you should not know, but you are the heirs to his property. Caesar had no children, so as if he made the citizen as if he has written that the citizen should inherit his property. No one knows whether it is really written, but you can't blame Mark Antony. His job is to provoke the common people of Rome against the conspirators, and in this way he wants to take revenge for the murder of his very dear friend. One friend kills Caesar, another friend takes revenge. Fourth plebeian, read the will. We will hear it, Antony, you shall read us the will. So in this way he is making them all the more eager. They are losing their patience. They want to listen to what is written in the will, because Mark Antony earlier also he had said, if you know what is written, you would do these: dip your handkerchief, beg a hair, or go and kiss his wounds. And now he is telling that it will make you mad when you know that Caesar has declared you as your heirs. Will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have overshot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it. So he is reminding the common people that these honorable men, they have killed Caesar with their daggers, and now they are getting softer towards Caesar, and he reminds them that Caesar is dead because these honorable men with their daggers have stabbed him. So please have patience. I have said more than I had wished to say. I had not intended to say all these things. So I have said more than I should have told you, and in that I have wronged these honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. Now see the reaction of the common people. They were traitors, honorable men. So they were not honorable men, they were traitors. And this is what Mark Antony wants them to feel. He wants the common people of Rome to feel that they are not honorable men, they are traitors. The will, the testament. So Antony, please read the will. They were villains, murderers. The will. Read the will. So they voice their opinion now about the conspirators. Only a little while ago, just see, they were ready to take Brutus to his house in a procession. They were reluctant to hear Antony, and now Antony has created such an impression on them that they have just reverse feelings. Now they are ready to believe that they are the killers of Caesar, are the villains, they are traitors, they are murderers. They are not honorable men. So Mark Antony has been successful, but he will further provoke them, go on provoking them till they are ready to chase the conspirators. This is what he wants. So he goes on provoking, he doesn't stop here. Antony, you will compel me then to read the will, as if he is reluctant and these people are forcing. This is his master plan. He wants to read the will, or whatever, that roll of paper. I said no one knows whether it is the real will of Caesar. Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar, and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend? Will you give me leave? Just see how noble he is. Or he's pretending to be noble, so humble, he's pretending to be so humble. You want me to read the will? So they all say, come down. And the third plebeian, yes, he will have he as if gives the permission. And then the fourth plebeian, make a ring, stand round. So first plebeian says, stand away from the body. Second plebeian, room for Antony, most noble Antony. Antony, no, nay, press not so upon me, stand far back, far off. So Antony does not want that they should crowd around him, and he says, keep a little distance. Several plebeian, stand back, room, bear back. So whatever Antony says, they are ready to obey. Now, this very important speech, more or less half the job he has done, and these will complete it. If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. It was on a summer evening in his tent. That day he overcame the nervy. So Antony is telling that if you have tears, then get ready to shed them now. And then he shows mantle, the cloak of Caesar. He puts the cloak of Caesar for display, and then he says that this cloak, when did Caesar put it the first time? That on a summer evening. He had put it when he was in his tent, and he had been victorious over the tribe of Nervi. He had defeated the Nervi. So Nervi, they were actually tribal people, tribal people, and Caesar had won victory over them. And that day he was wearing this cloak. And then he points out to one hole in the cloak. There are several holes. He was wearing this cloak when these conspirators stabbed him. So there are several holes in the body. So he picks up one hole and he says, look, this place ran Cassius's dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed. And as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, as rushing out of doors to be resolved, if Brutus so unkindly knocked or no. All these Mark Antony's imagination, How can he say that this one was made by Casca, this one by Cassius, and this one by Brutus? Because he was not present there. Was he present there? He was not present there. But he knows you can fool the public very easily. Remember, he had been taken out by Trebonius. So how can he claim to say that this hole was made by Cassius, this hole was made by Brutus, this one by Casca? How does he know it? He wasn't present there. So these are all lies. But he is a master manipulator. He knows how to provoke the people with his pack of lies. But he has to do it by hook or crook. Everything is fair in love and war. So he is waging a war indirectly against the conspirators because he wants to take revenge for the gruesome murder of Julius Caesar. So you can't blame him. He is doing everything that he could to take revenge for the murder of his friend. And these public, they don't even remember whether Mark Antony was present there or not, because had he been present, he could have tried to stop it. So he was not there, and he is pointing out to these holes in the cloak and saying, see, this one was made by the jealous Cassius, this one was made by jealous Casca, this one was made by Cassius, Brutus made this one. And then what does he say? When Brutus stabbed, the blood of Caesar came out to see whether it was Brutus only who had stabbed. As if the blood of Caesar couldn't believe that Brutus, whom Caesar considered to be his best friend, he could stab Brutus. Yeah, this is a fact. Caesar couldn't believe. Remember his words before he died? Et tu, Brute, then falls Caesar. So Mark Antony is also saying the same thing, as if the blood of Caesar rushed out. This is also, he is trying to emotionally blackmail the people. See, when Casca, Cassius and the others stabbed Brutus, didn't the blood of Caesar come out? Right from the first injury made by Casca, only the blood of Caesar came out from the wounds. But he is saying that when Brutus stabbed, the blood of Caesar came out because it wanted to be certain if Brutus had stabbed or not. Why? Because as if the blood of Caesar was shocked. It could not believe that Brutus could be one of the murderers. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. So Brutus was Caesar's angel. That means Caesar's best friend. Caesar considered him to be his angel, his guardian spirit, his best friend. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. Yeah, this is a fact. Caesar loved Brutus very dearly. In the civil war, when Caesar and Pompey they fought against each other, Brutus was on Pompey's side. And after the war, when Caesar was victorious, Brutus had been arrested. But Caesar was so fond of Brutus, he forgave him, freed him, and made him his friend, accepted him as a friend. And at his request, even Cassius was freed. Cassius, Brutus, they were all supporters of Pompey, and Caesar, after the war, freed Brutus, made him his friend. And when Brutus requested that Cassius should be freed, because Cassius was Brutus's brother-in-law, so even to honor Brutus's request, he set Cassius also free. And just see how brutally he gets paid for it. So, this is a fact. Caesar loved Brutus. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all. Yes, Brutus's stabbing was the most unkindest. Unkindest, superlative, and adding a most, double superlatives. Just to impress the idea how unkind Brutus's attack must have been to Caesar. Others, yes, Caesar was not so friendly with them. But Brutus, whom he considered to be his guardian angel, that person comes and stabs him. For when the noble Caesar saw him stab, ingratitude more strong than traitor's arms quite vanquished him. So when Caesar saw that Brutus was also one of those conspirators to stab him, then what happened? Caesar felt so overwhelmed by the ingratitude of Brutus. So this ingratitude was the bigger weapon than the weapons of the traitors. Arms here doesn't mean this arm. Arms here means the weapons. The arms of the traitors or the weapons of the traitors were nothing in comparison to the weapon of ingratitude. Ingratitude was a more powerful weapon. So whose ingratitude is being referred to? The ingratitude of Brutus. So he was an ungrateful person. Mark Antony is trying to point this out. Quite vanquished him. So Caesar felt defeated at the ingratitude of Brutus. It seemed to him more powerful than the weapons of the conspirators, of the traitors. Then burst his mighty heart. So what happened as a result? When Caesar felt defeated, then his heart burst, and in his mantle muffing up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statue, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. So Mark Antony, he says all these things when he was not present there. He is trying to imagine, and he is relating whatever might have happened or whatever had happened to the public. He also must have heard all these things from someone. Because remember, when Brutus had asked, where is Mark Antony? So Trebonius said he had run to his home. And the people of Rome were rushing about the streets as if it was doomsday. So he is not a witness to all these things. He imagines this must have happened, that when Caesar saw Brutus stabbing him, then he covered his face with his cloak, and then he fell down at the base of Pompey's statue, and his body, from the wounds, it was running blood. And then this is a very famous line, "Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen." So the falling of Julius Caesar, Mark Antony is referring to it. It was, "Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen." That means it was a great fall. Whose fall? Caesar's fall. He was standing, so he falls down to the ground. This fall is being referred to as a great fall. Then I and you and all of us fell down. So as a result of this ungratefulness which defeated Caesar, he fell down, and in Caesar's fall, not only he fell but all of us, I, you and others. So it was a defeat for all of us. Whilst bloody treason flourished over us. So the death of Caesar resulted in the victory of the conspirators and our defeat. Triumphant. The conspirators were triumphant, so bloody treason flourished over us. And then what happens? The public, when they hear the scene of Caesar's murder being described by Antony in such a passionate manner, so they start crying. And now Mark Antony says, "Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are gracious drops, kind souls. What weep you when you but behold our Caesar's vesture wounded? Look you here. Here is he himself, marred as you see with traitors." So Caesar, Mark Antony says, "Oh, now you all are crying, and I think now that you feel pitiful. Your tears, they show soft feelings." So from going against Caesar, he has brought them to this stage that now they are weeping. So what a marvelous speaker Mark Antony is. He knows how to play his cards. Remember, when he was to start his speech, none of them were eager to listen. It was only at the request of Brutus that they stayed here to do him honor. And now what happens? Within 15 to 20 minutes, he is able to turn the tables against the conspirators. Brutus and the others become villains, and he is the most noble Antony. And now they start crying. Only a little while ago they had believed that, hearing Brutus's speech, they had believed that Caesar was a tyrant, and now they are crying. So Mark Antony is telling that, what are you weeping when you see his cloak wounded, vesture wounded? Look at the person. Look at Caesar himself. Instead of crying on seeing his cloak, just his cloak, you all are crying. So what will you all do? Just look at him. Here is himself, here is Caesar, destroyed by the traitors. Caesar killed with the weapons of the conspirators. Caesar killed on account of the number of wounds on his body. So, and he points out Caesar's body to them, and now they see the body of Caesar and the way they react. It was a master plan of Mark Antony. Oh, piteous spectacle! So what a sad sight. Oh, noble Caesar! Caesar from tyrant again has become noble. Oh, woeful day! Oh, what a cursed day, miserable day! Oh, traitors, villains! So his anger is directed towards the conspirators. Oh, most bloody sight! We will be revenged. This is what Mark Antony wanted, that they should rise in revolt against the conspirators, in rebellion. All revenge, about, seek, burn, fire, kill, slay. Let not a traitor live. So just see, they have become so passionate. So all the common people, they have risen in rebellion against the people who murdered Caesar. They are now being labeled as traitors, and these people, the common people, they want to burn their houses, they want to set fire to their houses, kill them. So Antony has done his job perfectly. This is what he had intended to, and he has been successful. Remember, he had told Octavius Caesar's servant to wait. Why? He wanted to see how the people will be moved by his speech, and after that the servant can go back and report to Octavius Caesar whether Rome is safe for him or not. Antony, stay, countrymen. First plebeian, peace there. Hear the noble Antony. So, noble Antony, and peace. Be silent. Don't make noise. Let's hear the noble Antony. Second plebeian, we'll hear him, we'll follow him, we'll die with him. This is what they had wanted to do with Brutus, and now they are ready to do the same thing. So public opinion is fickle minded. The public are fickle minded, and their opinions cannot be depended upon. At one moment they are on one side, and then the other moment they are on the other side. They are like the pendulum, oscillating from one end to the other. Fickle mindedness of the public. Antony, good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up to such a sudden flood of mutiny. They that have done this deed are honorable. What private griefs they have, alas, I know not, that made do it. They are wise and honorable, and will no doubt with reasons answer you. Just see how clever he is. He is telling, no, I don't want to provoke you into a rebellion. These people who have done this, they are honorable people, but I don't know what personal reasons they had for murdering Caesar. and they are wise, they are honorable, and they will give you sufficient reasons why they had done this. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. No, I don't come to provoke you against them. I don't come to steal your hearts. I am no orator as Brutus is. Just see, he is pretending to be so humble. I am no orator as Brutus is. Rather, he is a better orator than Brutus. Brutus was overconfident. He had thought, whatever I say after that, what Mark Antony says will have no effect. It is not so. He had underestimated Mark Antony. He had thought, oh, Mark Antony, he is fond of games and sports. What will he say? He had never known that Mark Antony can be a very good orator. He is a much better orator. See, within minutes he changes the public opinion. And yet he is telling, I am not such a good orator as Brutus. But as you know me all, a plain, blunt man. So I am a very plain, blunt man. So I am just a plain and frank person that love my friend. I love my friend, and that is what you know about me. I am just a very ordinary, frank person, but I love my friend. And they know full well that gave me public leave to speak of him. Yes, and these people, the honorable men, they gave me permission to speak at his funeral. Why? Because they know that I am a plain ordinary man. I have only love for my friend, but I am not a good orator, and that is why they gave me permission to speak. That was the biggest mistake committed by Brutus, giving Mark Antony the permission to speak. And see what he has done. And yet he is saying, I am not a good orator, like Brutus is. For I have neither wit nor words nor worth, action nor utterance nor the power of speech to stir men's blood. So he says that I don't have the intelligence. I don't have the intelligence. I don't have the vocabulary. I am not so full of action. I am not a good orator to provoke people, to make them rise in rebellion. I don't have all these, and yet he has done it, and he is telling, I don't have all these qualities. So humble, all is pretense. He knows very well that he is a very good orator, and depending on it only he had asked permission to speak at Caesar's funeral. I only speak right on. I tell you that which yourselves do know. So I speak right on. I speak continuing without stopping. I am telling you what, I am not telling you anything new. I am telling you what you yourselves are also aware of. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds. Now he is again making them emotional. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. So let me show you Caesar's wounds, the injuries made on his body. These wounds are as if asking me to speak on behalf of them. But were I Brutus and Brutus Antony, there where an Antony would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar, that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. So he is indirectly telling them to mutiny, to rise in revolt. So he is telling, if I were Brutus and Brutus were Mark Antony, what would he have done? As Mark Antony, Brutus would have made the wounds of Caesar speak. I am not doing it. I cannot do that. I am not a good orator like Brutus. That is why I cannot do justice to Caesar's wounds. But if Brutus was in my place, if he was Mark Antony, what would he have done? He would have spoken on behalf of all the wounds of Caesar. So much so that he would have charged you to rise in rebellion against the murderers of Caesar. So indirectly he is telling them to revolt, and the public, they have understood it, so they are saying, we'll mutiny. First plebeian, we'll burn the house of Brutus. Just see, irony. A little while ago they wanted to take Brutus to his house, and now they want to burn his house. Third plebeian, away then, come seek the conspirators, let us find out the conspirators. Antony, yet hear me, countrymen, hear me speak. Oh, he's so sweet. All, peace ho, hear Antony, most noble Antony. Why, friends, you go to do you know not what? Wherein hath Caesar deserved your loves? Alas, you know not. I must tell you then. You have forgot the will I told you. So this is the last nail in the coffin of the conspirators. He is harping on the will for a long time. They are ready to set fire, but he still wants to keep them, to give them the full dose, so that after that there is no stopping the people. So he again reminds them of the will. He says, you don't know what you are going to do. How did Caesar deserve all this coming from you? How did Caesar deserve the action which you are going to do? You don't know this. You have forgotten the will. Most true, the will. Let's stay and hear the will. So they realize, yes, we haven't heard of the will. Mark Antony says we are his heirs. So let's listen to the will, and then we'll decide what to do. Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal, to every Roman citizen he gives, to every several men, 75 drachmas. So Mark Antony claims that in Caesar's will, with the seal of Caesar, the seal of Caesar might be there, but it might be another document. The public, they might understand the seal, but not what is written. I am not saying it is not a real one, but it may not be the real one. He is doing only all these things to provoke the people and also make them realize that Caesar was their friend, not their enemy. So he says in Caesar's will, he has left for every Roman citizen 75 silver coins, 75 drachmas. Second citizen, second plebeian, most noble Caesar, will revenge his death. So when someone gives you something, you naturally become favorable towards that person. So Caesar, he has left all these things for us, and those people have murdered him. Then how can he be ambitious? He has distributed all his wealth among us. So how can this person be called ambitious? How can it be said of this person that he was a tyrant? How can it be said that he would have made us his slaves? Most noble Caesar, O royal Caesar, Antony, hear me with patience. All, peace ho. Antony, moreover, he hath left you all his walks, his private arbors and new planted orchards. On this side Tiber, he hath left them you, and to you heirs, his heirs forever, common pleasures to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Here was a Caesar, when comes such another? So, in the will, Caesar has left everything for you. You are his descendants, you are his inheritors, and for you he has left these pleasure grounds, he has left his summer houses, he has left his apple gardens or orchards, and on this side of the Tiber. So you can enjoy the roads and everything that he has created. Common pleasures to walk abroad and recreate yourselves, to entertain yourselves. So here was a Caesar. When will another Caesar like him come? That means he is unparalleled. You won't have another Caesar like this. It is a rhetoric question. When comes such another? That means you will never meet another Caesar. or another person like Caesar. Never, never. So they also agree, no, never we'll find another person like Caesar. Come, away, away. So they wanted just to hear the will, and now they want to go and catch the conspirators, kill them, and set fire to their houses. We'll burn his body in the holy place. So now Mark Antony does not need to take care of Caesar's body, because he knows the public will only do it. So we'll burn his body means Caesar's body in the holy place. Yeah, in the cremation ground where they burn their dead. That means in Rome at that time, when people died, they were not buried, they were burnt, like the Hindus. So because Christianity had not evolved till then, that was before Christ. Julius Caesar was before Christ, BC. And with the brands fire the traitor's house, take up the body. So now Mark Antony does not need to carry the body to the burial cremation ground. These common people of Rome only will take the body of Caesar, burn it, and from there take up burning logs of wood and set fire to the house of the traitors. Go fetch fire, plug down benches, plug down forms, windows, anything. So in order to put the body to fire, they need wood. So some go fetch fire, that means the things with which to fetch fire, let's bring those. Plug down benches, so let us break some of the benches and take the wood to put the body to fire. Some fourth plebeian, plug down forms, windows, anything. So whatever which is inflammable, let us take all these things and burn the body of Caesar. Exeunt plebeian with the body. So the citizens of Rome, they carry the body of Caesar. Antony is very happy, very satisfied. Now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt. So yes, now he wants his mischievous plan to start, and he says, yes, whatever course you want. So mischief is being personified here, and he is telling mischief as if, mischief thou art afoot. That means you have been started. So whichever course you want, you can take it, because he knows that he has been successful in taking his revenge for the death of his friend. Enter a servant. How now, fellow? Sir, Octavius is already come to Rome. So this servant comes and informs Mark Antony that Octavius has already reached Rome, but Antony has made Rome safe for Octavius. Earlier, when the servant of Octavius had come, Mark Antony had told him first to run and stop him from coming to Rome, because this was a mourning Rome, a dangerous Rome. But now he feels that no, it is okay for Octavius to come, because the people are now sympathetic towards Julius Caesar and angry at the conspirators. Where is he? He and Lepidus are at Caesar's house. So Lepidus and Octavius Caesar are in the house of Caesar, and thither will I straight to visit him. So I will go there immediately to visit him. He comes upon a wish. Fortune is merry, and in this mood will give us anything. So Mark Antony wants to go and immediately visit Octavius Caesar. Octavius has come at the right time when Antony had wished him to come. Fortune seems to be quite happy with us and will give us anything. I heard him say Brutus and Cassius are rid like madmen through the gates of Rome. So Antony, when he was coming to Caesar's house, he had seen the people chasing Brutus and Cassius out of Rome. Antony, belike, they have some notice of the people, how I had moved them. Bring me to Octavius. So Antony understands that most probably the news must have reached the ears of Brutus and Cassius, how his speech has affected the common people of Rome, and that is why they were running out of Rome to save their lives. Bring me to Octavius. Take me to Octavius. So this is where the second part of your Act 3 scene 2, the most important scene in Julius Caesar, comes to an end. This is the second part. And see, such important speeches coming from Mark Antony, so that he turns the tables on the conspirators. And now what did you hear in the last part? What had Octavius seen when he was entering Rome? Brutus and Cassius chased by the public out of Rome. So yes, now you all can go through it again and again before your exams. You can do it now and bye for the time being. And yes,